The Tao of Self-Confidence, episode 351.
Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. Visit our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits.
Well, hello friend. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. I'm your host today, Sheena Yap-Chan, and today I have a phenomenal lady on the show today. She's a plant-based nutritionist and blogger, and I'm really excited to have her on and share her story today. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Jasmine Briones. Jasmine, how are you today? Maybe you can fill in a little bit more about yourself to our listeners.
Hi, thank you for having me. Yeah, so like you said, I'm a plant-based nutritionist. I actually just graduated last year and got my degree in nutrition. And I actually was inspired to go into nutrition through my blog, which is Sweet Simple Vegan. And it's something that I contribute to daily, whether it be on my website or on my social media outlets. I just share plant-based recipes and lifestyle tips and inspiration just to help people understand more about the vegan lifestyle, why people live this way, and why they should consider it.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And Jasmine, what's your cultural background?
I have a big mix. That my dad is Ecuadorian, so I'm half Ecuadorian, and then my mom is actually a mix of Irish, Chinese, Spanish, and a little bit of Filipino. But she actually grew up in the Philippines, so I grew up with a lot of the Filipino culture, the food. So I would say like my cultural background growing up was Ecuadorian and Filipino.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And that is quite a mix. So thanks again.
Yeah.
And what would be your favorite self-confidence quote?
Something that I love to share, it's actually my mantra that I share on my website, and something that I try to follow every day is love yourself, choose health. So just based on my experience with disordered eating and I just having a negative relationship with food and myself, I love to tell people that putting whole foods on your plate, choosing healthy foods, is you showing yourself self-love.
That's a great quote. And it's so true. Sometimes the food that we put into our body, right, is based on our emotions. And like, if we put good stuff into our body, then it's helping us, right? Just feel good.
Yeah, definitely.
And like, everyone has their own way of coping it. But like, I always believe too, just living a healthy lifestyle, putting good stuff into your body, you just look and feel better, from the inside, and it shows from the out. So that's a really great quote that you mentioned. And in your own words, how do you define self-confidence?
Self-confidence, of course, I would say it's being comfortable in your own skin, but it's also being able to love yourself enough to share exactly who you are with other people. I know it's sometimes hard for people to be exactly who they are in specific situations. Like when I was growing up, I can say that I was different around different people just because I felt like people expected me to act a different way, to do different things based on who I was hanging out with or that sort of thing. And I feel like self-confidence is being the same person consistently with everyone. Yeah, and just being your true self.
Thanks for sharing that. And I love how you mentioned just loving yourself enough to share with other people, because it's true. Sometimes we put like this mask on, right? You have to be like the good daughter or the good wife or the good sister. And, sometimes we just have to show people who we truly are, and we can't please everyone for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
So, I mean, if we can just learn that it's impossible to do that and just show ourselves, it'll be like more freeing and we just feel a lot better. So,
yeah.
Thanks for sharing that definition. And what was your life like before your discovering self-confidence?
Growing up, I honestly did have very low self-esteem. And like I briefly mentioned before, I actually fell into an eating disorder when I was 18 years old. And I was just very judgmental of myself, and I felt like I was saying, I needed to act a certain way around different people. I needed to impress everyone, live a certain life. And it was actually when I went to college that I realized that I was trying to live up to all these expectations from my parents, from my friends, whether it be good grades or being able to go out like every night with my friends and still like be successful in school. So I did have a rocky sense of self-confidence growing up. And it wasn't until I actually pushed through that stage in my life, my eating disorder. And I don't know, from that, I actually learned who I was, and I learned that what I actually wanted to do with my life and why I shouldn't have gotten caught up in any of those things. And I would say that I wasn't truly self-confident until I was almost 20 years old. And that's when I truly felt comfortable in my skin. And that's actually when I launched I launched Sweet Simple Vegan when I was 18 going on to 19, but it wasn't until it started to bloom, Sweet Simple Vegan, that I really felt confident in myself.
Thanks for sharing that. And it's crazy. Like, things like eating disorders is something not so many people talk about, right? They feel shameful that they're doing it. And, you went through the same thing, and at least you're here sharing that, you're not the only one who's gone through it. There's so many people out there, and the more we're aware of it, the more we can find solutions to it. And, because that, you discovered your blog, you stopped your eating disorder and had the realization that you didn't have to please everyone. What's your life been like now?
My life has just been going up and up since then. It is definitely sometimes rocky, and I do have some moments of self-doubt and low self-confidence, but I feel like everybody goes through those sort of stages. But from all of that, I started to learn that I recognize when I am being hard on myself for no reason, and I recognize when I'm having a negative outlook and attitude. And from being able to do that, I definitely feel like I've been able to progress more than I have before. And with being self-confident, with loving myself more, it's again given me more confidence to just put myself out there and to share my story. For one thing, that was like the hardest thing that I ever did, and to just inspire others to like live with the same outlook and mindset.
Thanks for sharing that. And, to the woman who's listening to your episode, she may be in her own journey of self-confidence. What would be that one tip you would give to her?
For one thing, I would say don't I don't know how to word this, but it wasn't until I kind of started to get to know more people, I branched out like on social media. I started watching more like YouTube videos and just like getting to know people in that sense. But I started learning more outside of my own self and my own mind. And that's kind of what helped me, because I realized there's not just one way to live. There's not just one form of confidence, or someone's self-confidence is definitely different than another person's. So I don't know, just realizing that you're not alone for one thing, and everybody's different, and you don't have to fit a certain mold. That's kind of where I was going with this. But so your form of self-confidence, your personality, your characteristics, you as a person are going to be completely different than every other person, but that's what makes you special and amazing. And people need to actually start realizing that and living by that.
Thanks for sharing that. And that's a great tip. And, I totally believe everyone has, learning how to get confidence or being more confident. And just because one way doesn't work doesn't mean it won't work for someone else.
Yeah, definitely.
Because everyone has different situations and different backgrounds. So, I really like that you mentioned that. And Jasmine, if our listeners wanted to get to know a little bit more about you and check out your blog, is there any links or social media profiles we can connect with?
Yeah, so my website is sweetsimplevegan.com, and that's where I have my full story. Yeah, just more about me there. And I also have Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and all of those are Sweet Simple Vegan.
Thanks for sharing that. And to our listeners, if you want to connect with Jasmine, you can also head on over to thetaoofselfconfidence.com and search for Jasmine's name. Her show notes will pop up along with everything else we talked about. And I just want to thank Jasmine for taking the time to share her story with us. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Not a problem. It was an honor having you on the show. And to our listeners, be on the lookout for another new episode of another amazing woman's journey to self-confidence, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.
Thank you for tuning in to another amazing episode of the Tao of Self-Confidence. Get your free self-talk tape for building self-confidence by visiting our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits.